Welcome, bienvenue, welcome to all you love entrepreneurs out there. Love entrepreneurs out there. May I introduce you once again to the Love Entrepreneurs Show with Hilary Coslet. And, of course, Sally Herdman is our special guest. We are talking today all things to do with inheritance, tax planning, and everything in between, but also, more importantly, about the big fix and love entrepreneurs. Hilary, please take it away.
Take it away. I'll start by taking my top off, shall I? I'll
Well,
sorry, I'll rephrase that. I'll take my jacket off.
I was going to say, it's not that sort of show.
It's a family show.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what
Go on
this is.
then.
Right, so we had a fantastic big fix with Sally last week, and it was great because what was so great about it, people often ask me, why do we do this over 2 days, right? And Sally was a phenomenal example of why we do this over 2 days, because day one was very focused on expand the business, do all the things that, people like me, quite transactional would want to do. But it wasn't really, and we already felt this, what Sally really wants to do. She might want to do that, but there was something missing, in the whole jigsaw puzzle. But by day two, we got to much more holistic, I felt, we'll hear from Sally what she thought, sort of modus. And we were really much closer, I thought, to getting to the nub of what Sally was actually asking us. So, Sally, do you want to explain to the audience what it is that you came to the big fix to talk about, and then how it sort of progressed? I mean, do you agree with what I've just said, that it's sort of the first very sort of transactional? You give me a problem and say scale a business, I'm there with my felt pens, my crayons.
Yeah. Well, I think that's some of the beauty of not only running it over 2 days, because I've done these sort of action learning sets in the past and I've run them over a longer period of time. But I think the important bit for me was I came with just no really clear what I wanted, but sort of felt, how I run, although I do my will writing, planning, etc., I run various other strands to my business. And it was, how can I either scale that or get them together, or what can I do with it so I end up with something that's going to provide me with a pension, if you like, rather than I have to just keep working. And I think sort of day one, the actual sort of everybody chipping in, because you're getting a load of different perspectives, everybody chipping in and asking questions, that were options that I probably hadn't considered. So like Hilary said, like you say, going away overnight and having a thinking, I'd already started, okay, I could go down this route, and start, my brain had started working on what could I do if I did it like this, So I do think it ended up being quite a lot different from how I'd first imagined it might be, and there were a lot of, it gave me some new ideas and a lot of new things to explore with it, rather than thinking, I've got to just keep doing this for another X number of years, what can I do differently? Yeah. So very helpful.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. So did you, obviously you got the report. I wrote the report for you, and did that sort of summarize? Did that help in terms of, we haven't spoken about it yet, but for me, this was a really good reason why people do this, because I think people often come from this, or you often see coaches do this sort of thing, but they're coming at it potentially from the wrong perspective, i.e. they're coming at it from the perspective of, how can I get people through my funnel quickly? How can I get a new client? Whereas Love Entrepreneurs is meant to be, yes, we do strategy coaching if people want it, but it's very much, people do really need it. But it's, I think by the end of sort of day two, you can really start to, and if people come to them regularly, which I do advise, because it's what you hear from other people's business problems that you really learn from. I think I do.
Well, I think absolutely you can adapt it to your own business, can't you?
Yeah,
And
I think that's why we did the 2 days.
yeah,
It was a good thing. So what did you get out of it? Did you, what was your sort of instant feeling about it? And how would you change it if we had to change anything?
Well, I'm not sure that I would change it, because I do think actually different people from different backgrounds in different business sectors that know nothing about my business, they ask sort of appropriate questions to find out a bit more about how my business runs and this, that, and the other. They didn't just sort of accept things. And that sort of pointed out to one or two where there might be gaps, and or how else could I run this business, which I think that was sort of quite valuable. And then, when people came to the coming with the ideas section, then it was good to go away and sort of think on that, and then get your report that, so that because you go off on one tangent and start thinking on that, and then perhaps forgets one or two of the other things that have been brought up. So I think it's great to have it in a report so that you can put it, back with my original business plan and say, okay, well, there we are. There's an opportunity, or there's a strength. There's a potential gap or something. So I don't know that I would particularly change the format you're using. As I say, I've used, they're loosely an action learning set, and I've used that in various roles in the past, and they've always been very helpful. Even if it's the action learning set for somebody else, it gives you ideas for yourself, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I think it's a good technique, really.
Well, it is. And what you really want people to do is to sort of get into action. You do want people. I mean, at Love Entrepreneurs, we do have the 2 strands of strategy work that we do, the sort of business foundations, and then the sort of fit for funding aspect of things, where we would take people through a whole 3-month process of re-envisioning their business.
Yeah.
At the end of it, that business ought to be fundable. We're not saying we're going to guarantee getting you funding, but we know from our experience, and because we've had to do it ourselves, we know the steps that we need to take, and all we're doing is passing it on to everybody else.
Yes.
But I think that's a really good thing, and we struggle quite often to get people to get enthusiastic about this sort of thing, because I'm often interested in, and I guess you find it in your industry with financial planning and with will writing too. I'm sure you get people that you come, why the hell didn't you do this before now?
Well, no, they're usually dead, so I don't get them at all.
Oh, right. So
I get the grieving relatives that go, he never made a will, I get to sort the mess out after.
We could have helped him, but I'm afraid he was a little bit too dead. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, this is the thing, but it's a similar thing with business.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it's one of my mottos is, my straplines is never too early, but it can very often be too late. Start planning. And from myself, and it's something that I have always had in mind, although the target has gone sideways at times, is very often we starting a business or doing something to earn ourselves an income now. Whereas what I really believe we should do is start a business having planned the end game, the end goal. What do I want at the end? Not just my monthly income, but when do I want to finish? What do I want? If you don't plan the ending, it's quite a difficult turnaround.
You're retro reversing that, and
yes,
but it never ceases to amaze me, because of course we don't charge. well, we don't charge anything for the big fix. And we don't charge anything for the report writing, but we do charge in silver, which is the Silvertree currency, because Love Entrepreneurs is part of Silvertree. We charge people the monthly fee of £25 in silver. And it's extraordinary. And we do a lot of our strategy and a lot of our coaching too, you know, part silver, part cash, and we will straddle the cash if need be. But it is such a struggle to get people to come and do this thing. And I often wonder, I'm interested in people's thoughts here. I often wonder, you know, okay, so you started a business, right? You're in business. Wouldn't you be interested in hearing from other people who've been in business too, who are in business, and actually really trying to work with a strategist and actually expand on all of these? I'm not saying you personally, I'm not, you know, this is not sales pitch, I'm just musing this, because there seems to be a huge sense of reluctance after you've done the big fix. They get this report, and then what next? It's as if you don't see them after that. And I'm like, I don't get this. You know, for me, you know, I haven't got all the ideas. The idea is not with this coaching thing is to sort of say to people, you must do this. It's just to show from, you know, to get them really clear on all the different angles and ways that business could go forward. Because once you've done that skill, that's it. You don't need to reteach it.
Yeah. No, I think so. But then again, I don't know. Is it that we generally, and it's not encouraged in the UK, I don't know if it is elsewhere in the world, that when you start in business, that you have any kind of teaching or instruction or anything to help you maintain that business or grow that business? So I think some of this is completely new idea to people. You know, they're just looking at, have I got enough money in the bank to pay the bills and it makes me a living, and that's as far as their plan is. You know what I mean?
It's interesting you say that. When I started my first business up in 2003, I was sent to Business Link. If you remember, there was this thing called Business Link, which was growth hub. And I had a business manager there, and he was amazing. He was ex-NatWest, and he's fantastic. And he helped me get funding, and he sent me on this free course of how to, you know, the basics of business.
Exactly.
Set up the VAT, how to set up with HMRC, how to sort of think about vision, mission, blah, 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 blah. All of those things. And I don't think I would have. That was absolutely brilliant. But they insisted, they said, if you want our help, you have to go on this.
Do it. Well, and I think that this is what I'm saying about encouraging business and encouraging growth and startups. I believe, my belief is that is what you should do. You know, that we'll help you, we'll get you a grant, we'll get you this, that, and then it'd be guaranteed once you've done this. So that people start, because very often, like I'm afraid to say, in many ways, I was sat in on your big fix with another lady, that the big fix has come along and it's too late. Really, it's in crisis, you know, or, you know, people want to plan. They don't have a business plan that they follow that model, and then they review it every few months or every year or whatever and adjust it accordingly and keep following that business plan. They do one at the beginning, if they do one at all, and chuck it in the drawer. And so they're never following it. So then we come into an income deficit coming up or looming or problem. And then they want a loan or an overdraft, or they want funding and this, that, and the other. And you've got to start at the beginning again, really, to get the figures out of them, to get them to understand, well, why have you run into a crisis? Do you see what I mean? And I think maybe that's something that the big fix could offer. Yeah, it would be paying, but here's your report now. We will help you implement that, not just suggestions.
Yeah. That's what
that's a paying job, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do, and we even do it half silver, half cash, you know, and to make it easier for people. But it is still really difficult to get them to grasp, because I go to networking meetings as you do, and I keep hearing the same questions, and I'm like, oh my God, why are you not clear about, you know, what the basics?
I think it's not about your communication. I think it's about them, and you have to sort of think a little bit about what is procrastination. It's fear, isn't it, of moving forward or stepping out. They might not like the rut they're walking along in, but that's the devil they know. Not stepping outside it is. It's very scary, stepping outside your comfort zone.
It absolutely can be. I think it fears a lot of people fear changing their own paradigm, and
absolutely,
there's a certain amount of wallowing going on. You know that things have turned to shit, but it's very comfortable and slightly warm. So why should I move? At this point, I just want to draw people's attention. If you want to find out more about the Inheritance Guru, aka Sally Herdman, I'm just going to pop up a QR code in the corner. If you were to scan that right now with your mobile phone, it goes there. The website, in fact, is theinheritanceguru.com. And you can find out more about what she does, and perhaps even set up an initial conversation and find out whether what she does is applicable to you. Certainly, she's got some excellent ideas and a great wealth of knowledge. If you want to find out more about Love Entrepreneurs, and particularly to start your big fix journey, which I absolutely repeat is free, scan the QR code at the bottom left, and or follow love-entrepreneurs.com. Thank you very much, Ellery Coslip, for putting this show on, and Sally Herdman, thank you for being our special guest today. And to all of you out there, please try and keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and for goodness sake, try and look after your mental health. Until next week, goodbye.